There's no denying Brian Orakpo is not only one of the fiercest competitors in recent Texas history, but also one of the more feared pass rushers in the NFL over the last decade. But he'll be the first one to tell you those days are over. Now the focus is on what his legacy will be. Former teammate and LHN analyst Michael Griffin asks that very question and more as his conversation with Brian Orakpo continues.
All right, we're going to take a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Texas days. What triggered you to make that jump? Because I remember once I left, it was the Orakpo show.
The older guys really set the tempo. You know, I had some great leadership with Crowder and Robinson in front of me. Guys like yourself, guys like Vince, A-Rolls. I mean, you name, we had a plethora of professional, not just NFL guys, but just guys that I respected. So once I came in, I just wanted to learn the UT way. I wanted to learn the Longhorn way. Instead of me being one of those obnoxious freshmen or those guys that talk too much but don't really deliver, I kind of want to soak in all the information I could, be not as quiet, but just learn as much as possible before I can actually make my imprint on the whole UT nation.
At what point did you realize that, you know, I could play at the next level? I remember for myself, that national championship game. I think that solidified myself. But you know what? I think I can play at that next level, come back from my senior year and go forth. You won every award your senior year. But at what point did you realize that, you know what, I have the opportunity and I know I can play at that next level?
Honestly, when I got the respect from the locker room. That was bigger than any play, bigger than any game that I was a part of, honestly. Once I got the respect from the locker rooms, from Rod Wright to Derek Johnson to everybody, it was a situation where, all right, I belong. So I'm just going to make the best of it and go out there and perform.
Now you're going to win these awards. Now it's the draft.
The Washington Redskins select Brian Orakpo, defensive end, Texas.
I'm sure you knew you was gonna get drafted in the first round. What is it like, your name called, go up on that stage? What's that feeling like?
It's the best. I mean, honestly, because you work extremely hard at your craft and just wanting to be the best, wanting to not only be the best, but also be the best team and teammate. We did a lot of great things my last year here and also the years prior. Championships, so BCS games, 10+ wins every season. Winning all kinds of awards, not just for myself, for everybody, and it just goes that the hard work really pays off. And you know, God is a great man because he put me in position to be a role model, to be somebody that carried the torch and they can pass it over to the young guys as well.
From there, you start where you left off at the University of Texas. What was it that propelled you to start your career off as fast as you did?
One advantage we have here at Texas was we always play in the biggest games. We always play against the biggest competition. You always have elite teammates and opponents week in and week out. Those primetime games Saturdays was equivalent to Sundays, it seems like. And I just wanted to go in and make a complete impact off the bat. NFL's a grind. I'm not saying it was easy because it's definitely not easy. It's a lot harder than collegiate ball. But that's when you separate yourself from your peers so you can be great.
So now you're retired, and I guess to go back and look over your career.
Yeah.
And you played with some former Longhorns on your team. What's it like playing with familiar guys that you played with in college? What is it like playing at the next level with those type of guys?
Oh, it's fun. It's always fun because this is the same guys that when you were 18, 19, 20 and so forth, that you started before we got to all the fame and the money and all this other stuff that goes around with the NFL. These are guys that we were 5 a.m., 6 a.m. grinding, going to class together, living in the dorms together. I mean, you name it. Everybody, you know, meeting. We all have our girlfriends, which are our wives now, were around that time. So it's amazing to see the progression, the transition from, you know, seeing everybody grow as from young boys to men. We're all a family. Old, new players, current players. If you have some burnt orange in your bloodline, we all family.
15 years down the road.
Yeah.
How do you want your fans, your family, your kids at that age, your youngest, I believe, would be 16 years old. What do you want everybody to remember about Brian Orakpo? For myself, I would want people to say he didn't put all his eggs in one basket. When he got done playing, he went back and got his degree. I did LHN. I opened up a business with some friends. I did the unthinkables, the things that I feel like my kids will never have to look at me or fans look at me like, okay, he's just an athlete, the whole persona, what they look at, you know, us players. So that would be for myself.
For me, it would probably have to be just a fierce competitor in life. I never like to lose, and you guys know that. Y'all know that about me. And that just goes past football, because I think in life you can never take stuff for granted. And I was a guy that never really I didn't want to take or never did take anything for granted. And I worked extremely hard at not only being a successful football player, but just trying to be successful in life. So I want everybody to know Orakpo was just a fierce competitor from day one until now, and forever will be a fierce competitor.